On today's Ask Joe, we are talking about portfolios for copywriters. This episode of Ask Joe is brought to you by the 10X Freelance Copywriter, where we talk about stuff like this all the time. Today's question comes from Julia G. Julia asks, any tips for showcasing your portfolio on your website? Now, again, this is for copywriters. In particular, I don't really have, if you're looking for the best tip, I think the best tip is not to have a portfolio as a copywriter unless you are in traditional advertising, where you work at an agency that creates commercials that go on TV. Not like, oh, we put together a video for a Facebook ad, one of 3,000 videos that we tested. I mean, maybe that goes in your portfolio too. But it can be hard to see the copywriting side of that kind of work. And far more often, copywriters are employed by companies to do lots of marketing jobs, like execution on emails, where you're writing emails in a Google Doc, or writing a long form sales page, things like that. And these can often be harder to show in a portfolio. Most of the portfolio software that's available, any of the SaaS portfolio tools that you might sign into, they were made for visual designers or even UX designers, animators, people who do things very visually. A copy doc is one of the ugliest things you can look at in advertising and marketing. Like, it's no bueno to look at. Then you start reading it, right? But we do have to put ourselves in the shoes of our prospective clients. And are they going to sit there and read through a copy doc? Now, if you're a direct response marketer who writes long form letters that go as like mailers to people's houses, then a Google Doc could go a long way. But you still wouldn't put it in a visual portfolio. You would still want to find a way to house these, this work that you've done in such a way where people can read through the copy, but also understand the context for it, because that can be really useful in observing someone's work when it comes to copywriting. Like, what were your inputs here? Why did you write it this way? Designers also have their own inputs and why they do things a certain way, but the way that people measure design right out of the gate is it's a obviously very visual, quick thing. Whereas a lead or a prospect or a prospective customer, and I'm talking not about your client here, but what the copy is used for, the end user of your copy that you're going to be showcasing, they are reading through it. They're reading hopefully line by line, or the parts that you want them to read. So we need our portfolio to help people read the work and then understand why. Like, why did you do it this way? What was your hook? Why did you choose that hook? And so that's something that, again, most portfolios don't show. So what is my answer then to this question? My answer is to create content out of your work instead of putting together a portfolio. Everything is content, including that email flow that you put together for a client. In a whimsical map, like you could have a mind map that's incredibly useful, but that doesn't display well in a traditional portfolio. And I'm talking about online portfolios, again, not like your book as a copywriter. That's like a big physical thing that you hold. So yeah, I say what I have done is, when we have tests that are interesting to share the results of and the client's on board with sharing those results, then I write a blog post, or I also put it into a presentation that I give on stage or in a webinar format. And that is a great way to showcase your work, to give the context that you need for your work, to also speak to results and help people hear you talk through how you think about this stuff, so they really understand that your work is not guesswork. And that's a really big deal and something that you can't necessarily understand by flipping through someone's portfolio. So can you write about the work that you do on LinkedIn, linking to your Medium article on it, or your newsletter on this, or a guest blog post put together for someone else, or a talk you give on it, or a way to sign up to get your webinar that dives into exactly what you did and how you did it, et cetera, et cetera. So Don't showcase it in a platform that's built for visual work. Showcase it in a way that your client can or your prospective client can really understand where you're coming from, and then they want to hire you. Thanks for watching. If you have got a question for a future Ask Joe, be sure to leave it in the comments. If you would like to dive deeper into what we talked about today, head over to copyhackers.com or follow the links in the description. And be sure to like, subscribe, and enable notifications so you do not miss another Ask.